What's the current state of play with the whole poppy farming industry in Tassie?
The poppy industry in Tasmania is made up of 3 companies. There's TPI Industries, which is a new player on the block. There's Tasmanian Alkaloid, which is Johnston and Johnston company, and there's Glaxo, is a Wellcome Smith Kline company. Between those 3 companies, we're going to have about 30,000 hectares of poppies in the ground this year. So, and that 2 companies process in Tasmania. The 3rd company, Glaxo, ship their product back to Geelong and process there. So Tasmania provides 50%, nearly 50% of the world market for the codeine, morphine products.
So in your historical association with poppy farming, has it been a stable and profitable industry for producers?
It has, but it's like any crop you put in the ground, the farmer wears the risk. So we get a lot of rain. The poppies are a pretty fragile plant. They're nearly like a lettuce when you put them in the ground, so they just sit on top of the surface. They need that good conditions to get established. And then later on in the season you have powdery mildew issues which can reduce the yield. So it's just like any plant you put in the ground, you've got to give it tender loving care, and you don't know what dollars you've got until it goes to the factory and it gets processed, because it's based on tonnes per hectare and it's based on an assay content. The assay is the amount of morphine that's in the plant. So it's a scale. So we get paid on a sliding scale.
And in general, would you describe the producer's relationship with the processors as being positive and favourable? It's not...
Very good.
Yeah.
In our other industries we deal with different companies, but the poppy companies are really good to get along with. They have field staff out all the time advising farmers on their crop care, and it's a good relationship with our companies.
In the poppy industry, what are the major challenges, regulatory, policy-wise, around at the moment that you guys are concerned about?
Yeah, one of the challenges in Tassie at the moment is the government budget cuts, where they're looking at not funding the $600,000 that it costs to maintain our poppy control officers, our poppy control board. They're wanting the farmers to pay that, which will turn around and be an extra $20 per hectare cost. And it's unusual for an industry to regulate itself. That's why the government has done it in the past. So we're in discussions with the government on that particular issue at the moment. The other issues that we have around the state, I mean, we've had a lot of money spent on water infrastructure in the past. 5 years ago we had the Meander Dam constructed, which was the first dam in 20 years to be built in any part of Australia. Produced 49,000 megalitres of water, and that's opened up 10,000 hectares for irrigation. Down through the middle of Tasmania and up the northeast we have, I think there's about 12 irrigation schemes on the go in the state at the moment. So we catch about 13% of the total rainfall in Australia, in Tasmania. So there's a lot of capacity to store water.
Now in your farming career you've produced fat lambs, cattle, spuds, the whole gamut. Talk to me a bit about, apart from irrigation, about how farming in Tasmania is changing.
It's changing. Look, I've still got my 78-year-old father on the farm with me, and I've got my 19-year-old son. So we've got 3 generations on the farm. So in the last 5 years with the irrigation scheme going in, for me personally, and using more irrigation, we've become more intense with our farming. It's turned from more of a lifestyle to a business. We've got to make it run properly. Even though it's a 7-day-a-week job, you've got to put a lot more time into it than what you probably did 20 years ago. We seem to be working harder for less returns. The dairy industry down there at the moment is ticking along. That seems to be a growth area. I've got 9 dairy farmers around me, and in the last 5 years there's been about 10 pivots go up, and so we're now doing dairy agistment, where once we've cut back on our fat cattle production, because the dairy boys are wanting to get the stock off their ground and give it a chance to recover. But we're all the time looking at something new, something different in our farming enterprise. We are diverse in our particular enterprise. You only need a drop in the lamb production or lamb price, which we'll probably have this year, and it affects affects us. We lost our potatoes a couple of years ago, and that was a $250,000 hit that we took. So you just move on.
So the theme of this Congress has largely been one of optimism, and in mainland terms there's plenty of water in the system, and the markets seem to be coming closer to us rather than going further away. Is that your take about the future as well?
Yeah, look, we're forever optimistic, especially in Tasmania with the water infrastructure, and the foreign investment is one that is a prickly one. We've got a lot of farmers say, no, we don't want people coming, foreign people coming in buying our land. But if we don't have foreign investment to come in and get things started, we haven't got the dollars to put it in ourselves.